Plain talk, sex, power, and pleasure. The purpose of this message is to point up the necessity of achieving a good measure of happiness and satisfaction in marital sex relations. Young people particularly do better if they learn certain rules of sex perfection early in their marriages. A basic understanding of sex principles by both men and women can enlighten them and prove a definite benefit to their marital happiness. The application of principles of successful sexual adjustment can make the marital relationship a truly enriching experience and aid in the prevention of divorce. The honeymoon should be a time for bride and groom to become intimately acquainted with each other. However, at the beginning of marriage, many a woman finds it difficult to yield to the sexual union because of modesty, exaggerated fear, discomfort, or training. She may consciously or unconsciously resist the sex act, even though she may possess a strong sexual urge and may desire to respond to her partner's sexual embrace. She may be unable to prevent her own unconscious withdrawal from the union. The woman must realize that complete relaxation on her part and active cooperation are necessary for success. The opening through the hymen of the woman is about 1 inch wide. Pressure of the male organ will stretch or dilate the hymen unless it has been previously stretched by other means. If the attempted entry should prove to be painful, or if there is much fear on the part of the wife, complete penetration need not take place during the first sex act. A gradual and gentle dilation carried out during the several successive relationships will ease the discomfort and lessen the anxiety for the woman. However, it is not wise to postpone the attempted sex act for any length of time. Gradual progress will be made from day to day. Some women may be able to react immediately to sex contact and derive normal satisfaction. Most women, however, do not respond fully to sexual intercourse during the honeymoon. Not infrequently, a woman is keenly disappointed at first. During the courtship with its accompanying intimacies, she may have received much pleasure from sex play, and she expects the union to prove even more thrilling. When, because of pain, fear, or lack of reaction to vaginal contact, the union gives little pleasure, or even is painful or uncomfortable, she may feel disillusioned. However, she must not be too deeply concerned if the first relations do not prove to be all she expected. Weeks, or sometimes even months, may be required before completely satisfying reactions and responses are achieved. Both the man and woman should recognize this situation and be ready to meet it with the necessary understanding and patience. Sexual union should never become merely an occasion for one person to satisfy his or her desires at the expense of the other. Husband and wife should be considerate of each other in sharing their love. In other words, do not exploit your partner. Sexual attraction is the physical affinity between a man and a woman. In the perfect marital relationship, man and wife are harmoniously adapted to each other mentally, physically, and emotionally. Their interests, habits, desires, and thinking are similar. These factors will supply the secure and healthy basis of a marriage, and thus the fundament of a happy sex life. Sexual expressions always should be maintained on a spiritual level of true love. A perfect marital relationship will result in the harmonious household in which happy and secure children can grow up. For the greatest marital happiness, it is of utmost importance that each partner give and receive the necessary physical, mental, and spiritual stimuli of sex union. A truly happy and successful marriage has love as its foundation. When the need for love and affection of both man and wife are similar, their relationship can be deeply satisfying. A satisfactory sexual technique is also important. All religious beliefs acknowledge that couples who find fulfillment in their sexual life rarely seek divorce. The most perfect physical expression of true love in marriage is the exciting and thrilling expression experienced in a harmonious sex union. The mental attitude of each partner is of vital importance for sexual harmony. The release of love and affection is most significant during the time of sexual intercourse. Your mind must be relaxed and free from worry. Anxiety based on parental conditioning and faulty understanding of sexual functions is frustrating. Sex union is not an immoral activity, and it is not considered so by any authority when a man and woman are married to each other. They have the moral and legal right to the expression of their natural biological and psychogenic urges. The pleasure derived from sexual intercourse with your mate should not cause you to experience feelings of guilt or shame. The male-female sexual relationship may well be decisive in determining whether or not a marriage is happy. The environment should be comfortable and suitable for complete relaxation. Privacy naturally is of the utmost importance, and sufficient time must be allowed for complete fulfillment of the sexual union. The right mental attitude is one of joyous anticipation. The perfect relation is that in which the organic climax is reached at the same time by husband and wife. This perfection, however, is not always obtainable. Therefore, tenderness, understanding, and the will to release the partner sexually is of great importance. Self-control is especially necessary for the husband, since the wife, in many cases, attains her climax later than her mate. Be thus considerate of your partner, rather than egotistically satisfying only your own desire. Sexual control can be achieved by the right positive mental attitude. Sexual stimulation should result during sexual intercourse in a release of orgasm so that the union fulfills its true purpose. The sexual climax, as well as sexual arousal, consists to some degree in a changed condition of body and mind. Healthy people are generally exhilarated by such an experience of change. Displeasure and anger are particularly harmful in the marital union, and may result in the frigidity of the female and the premature seminal ejaculation of the male. The sexually aroused person, inspired by love, warmth, and understanding, feels changed in many ways, but above all, he or she must be at peace with his or her partner. The man should begin intercourse with the expectation that he will control himself and delay his climax until the proper time. One effective method of preventing a premature climax is for the male to pause briefly while taking a few deep breaths. Each couple should discover by experiment the most effective technique for achieving the highest degree of sexual pleasure and satisfaction. There should be no reluctance to prolonged foreplay and tender embrace before the sexual act. In fact, it is wrong to assume that any kind of sexual stimulation should be restricted between husband and wife. The sexual experience, like many other experiences, will have for the married couple the meaning that they put into it. Both partners have the opportunity and responsibility of expressing their worthy and unselfish love, and this expression actually creates deeper love. True love is a precious possession, as is the entire sexual experience, from the touch of the hand to the climax of sexual intercourse. The lack of proper technique is often responsible for marital failure, as well as for weakened male sex energy. The following pattern can be followed as a helpful and normal way of increasing your sex power and pleasure. Foreplay is essential. For complete sexual enjoyment, the partners must have a deep emotional attachment for each other. The physical and psychic components are fused into a wonderful experience of love in the ideal sex relationship. Physical, emotional, and sexual love all blend into a spiritual love, elevating the man and wife to the highest peaks of passion. Extensive foreplay brings the wife's emotions to the surface, sending waves of sexual energy throughout her body. The male organs are also stimulated by this foreplay. thus increasing the husband's sexual vigor. While the husband is occupied with stimulating the sexual feeling of his wife, his own emotions are heightened in turn, further intensifying his tumescence. The external folds, the clitoris, and the other pelvic regions of the wife are sensitive and responsive. They should be gently stroked by the husband. A succession of gentle, rhythmic, soft caresses evoke from the wife an amorous mood. During this foreplay, nature provides a lubricant, which is secreted from glands located in the vaginal area. When the wife becomes aroused, these glands produce an abundant fluid flow, lubricating the female organs and enabling a smooth, comfortable penetration by the male organ. The lack of sufficient fluid may cause chafing and abrasion, reducing pleasure and making the actual coitus experience unpleasant for both partners. In addition to the pelvic area, the lips, breasts, and curves of the female body are similarly sensitive. When they are lovingly fondled by the husband in an atmosphere of tenderness and devotion, the sexual vigor of both husband and wife are increased. The all-important entrance. The most popular entrance position is for the husband to be above the wife. The wife, prone upon her back, draws up her knees and keeps her thighs spread apart so that simple entrance is possible. The man lowers himself gently down between the softness of her spread thighs, using one arm to support himself. Very gently, he guides his phallus toward her vagina, taking care that he does not force himself, since this would be likely to create pain or discomfort for both. When successful intromission has been accomplished, both lie together intimately. This is a high point in the session. It calls for warm kissing, the whispering of tender and precious words of endearment, such as, my darling, I love you. You're mine, all mine, all mine, all mine, all mine, all mine. Sighs of approval of each partner's affection should be mutual. A little flattery and the emphasis on the good points of husband or wife will greatly enhance harmony in the marital relationship. During these delicate moments, husband and wife are as close as they will ever be during their marriage. This position may be shifted to a side position to avoid fatigue. The wife should straighten her right leg, her husband letting his right leg remain between hers, placing his left leg outside of hers. He is then able to easily roll onto his left side, facing his wife. She no longer feels the pressure of his weight, and can enjoy the freedom of his right arm, which should now be devoted to loving caresses, or whatever else both may desire. In ancient times, the woman above position was most acceptable, and this same position can still be used. However, it is a little more difficult to perfect. The husband lies flat on his back. His wife bends and kneels astride his pelvis. She assists him with intromission, and then lies facing him. This is similar to the man above position, except that she lies above him. Some couples enjoy using first one position, and then rolling over to assume the other, thus creating diversion and prolonging their pleasure. Intromission should always be accompanied by fond, loving words of admiration and warm, affectionate kisses. The rapture of the kiss must never be omitted. For a variation, the sitting position proves satisfying and comfortable for both partners. On an armless chair, or preferably a hassock, where the woman can support her weight on her feet, the man sits, and the woman, facing him, spreads her thighs and sits across his lap. Intromission takes place as she settles down on his lap. This position allows freedom of motion for both partners. Rhythmic movements. The wife's clitoris usually small in size, begins to swell up during foreplay as she receives stimulation. An enlarged clitoris testifies to the soaring passions of the wife and to the husband's success in arousing her desires. Should her clitoris, small and difficult to find at times, fail to enlarge, further stimulation through foreplay is required. Otherwise, she is less likely to achieve a climax in concert with her husband. After a successful insertion has been made, the woman's sexual emotions will be further intensified when the coital movements commence. Nature provides women with a muscular band within the vaginal opening, and through mental effort, they are able to constrict this band, gently squeezing the male organ and adding to mutual pleasure. During intercourse, the man's passions soar to lofty heights, and he may find it difficult to control himself. If the man discharges too quickly and then withdraws, he has cheated his wife of her share of enjoyment, just when she is approaching climax herself. It is best when the wife can match her husband's movements so that they both enjoy the gentle rhythmic motions. In any position assumed, a joint effort is required. It is foolish for either partner to act indifferent, as this would only tend to reduce the sexual energies of one or both partners. Your ability to relax is most important, for unless you relax your body, your mind, and your emotions, it is impossible for nature to provide the sexual happiness you and your mate desire. Release tension from your mind by repeating to yourself, I am relaxed, I am relaxed, I am relaxed, and I have complete control of myself. Yes, complete control of myself. The ideal form of sexual union is that in which you and your companion have both attained complete release and fulfillment. Mutual adjustment, cooperation, sincere consideration for each other's needs and practice are necessary in order to achieve sexual harmony. Never take the attitude that after marriage, love-making and signs of love and affection can be abandoned and replaced by coitus. Love-making, kissing, and caressing should always precede the sex union. This preliminary stimulation is vitally important, for it prepares and later increases sexual release. This love play should be indulged in mutually and freely by both husband and wife, for any length of time, to bring about the best possible preparation for sexual intercourse. Lack of tenderness and preliminary lovemaking causes many men to reach their climax long before the wife reaches hers, without the chance of satisfying her. The woman also should be considerate in the control of her sexual emotions. The act may be continued at will until both parties are completely satisfied. A prolonged intercourse is usually desirable and most satisfying to both parties. Your thoughts and feelings control your bodily actions. During sex union, your mind and your emotions should become as peaceful as gently falling snow as you relax and sublimate your ego. The relaxation and freedom from tension and anxiety generally promote a more harmonious adjustment between husband and wife throughout marriage. Cleanliness is essential in the marital union. Both partners must be careful not to offend the other with unpleasant odors from bad breath or uncleanliness of body, clothing, or bedding. Cleanliness cannot be overemphasized. A refreshing bath, followed by scented talcum or toilet water, increases sexual attraction. Physical comfort, complete privacy, and plenty of time for the love play, the actual intercourse, and afterplay are essential. Both man and wife should always use the power of positive suggestions for increasing their sexual power. Because positive suggestions impress the subconscious mind and permit the desired control over emotions during sexual union. Practice saying to yourself silently, I will, I can, and I do control myself mentally and physically during the sex union. I have the power to control my actions. I can, and I do postpone my sexual climax until my mate is ready for a climax. I will give complete sexual relief and satisfaction to my loving mate. When indulging in and enjoying your marital rights and privileges, do not hesitate to repeatedly use phrases and words of love and endearment. Sex is the foundation of marriage and true love, and a genuinely happy marriage is impossible without a satisfactory sexual relationship. Sexual union should be enjoyed as often as both husband and wife desire it. It should be an invigorating experience, leading to a state of relaxation, satisfaction, or exhilaration conducive to sound sleep and good health. A marriage in which the partners enjoy a satisfactory sexual relationship will seldom end in the divorce court. The rewards of proper sexual enjoyment are priceless, since nothing else compares to the joy of sexual fulfillment of both husband and wife. Cultivate the art of sexual pleasure and open doors to new happiness you never before realized could exist.